Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed lunch. Our next presentation is going to be by Malta Enterprise. If you're looking at obviously setting up in the space, there is somebody that you want to speak to. I'm going to get the CEO of Malta Enterprise, Mario Galea, to come up on stage and talk about it. Welcome, Mario.
Distinguished guests, good afternoon. I represent Malta Enterprise, which is the government agency responsible for attracting and supporting foreign direct investment in Malta. Basically, our remit is to attract and support projects that can add value to our local economy. As you know, Malta is a small island, but manufacturing is very important for Malta. Manufacturing and the industrial direct and indirect services represent today about 25% of the economy of Malta. And this is one of the sectors, amongst other sectors, that Malta Enterprise supports. So basically, our remit is divided into two. That of, as I said, attracting and supporting foreign direct investment, and also support local companies to grow. Sometimes these two overlap in the sense that we broker arrangements between foreign companies and local companies that would set up viable operations in Malta. Something about our economy, I would say within a medical cannabis context, we have a very healthy economy. We have one of the highest growths within the European Union. As you can see, in these last 2 years, we had a growth of over 6.6% in 2017, and up to now it is 5.8% for 2018, but we have clear indications that this figure will be further reviewed and it will be closer to above 6%. So compared to the European Eurozone, our economy has grown almost 3 times as much as that of the rest of Europe. We have one of the lowest unemployment of indigenous people, but as many of you know, obviously today we get a lot of foreign persons to work in Malta. Basically, we encourage foreign employment. Today, we have, I would say, about 20 to 22% of our working population is non-Maltese. Some of the people come from the European Union, others come from outside of the European Union, and I believe we have created a healthy balance also in terms of skills, knowledge transfer, and so on. Employment growth is very high in Malta. We have a growth of almost 5.5% annually, and this is fueled mostly by the private sector. In fact, unemployment by government is declining, and basically we have a number of sectors in our economy, as I said, manufacturing and industrial operations. Then we have tourism and hospitality, the financial services, including back office operations, iGaming, maritime, aviation. So one of the things that make our economy very healthy is the fact that we have a very wide range of diversified industrial sectors. Real GDP growth per capita is also quite high. It is almost double that of the European Union at 4.3%. And as you can see, I think the testimonies for us are very important, because this is not something that we are saying as a marketing organization, but as you can see, all the major credit agencies rank Malta quite high. and above all, quite stable, which is very important since in these last 4 or 5 years, we have had not only a stable economy, but also an economy with a stable growth. No hiccups, but a stable growth regularly of between 5 and 6% annually. And this is very healthy for us. Some of the sectors that make up our industrial scenario, so you have advanced manufacturing, mostly very high precision mechanical engineering and automation in the automotive sector and in plastics. We have the aviation and maritime, mostly aviation in terms of MRO facilities, in terms of manufacturing of component parts for aircraft and similar. Green technology, international and education and medical services, in the sense that we attract entities and structures that would in turn attract foreign people to come to Malta, either to study or for medical intervention or for a number of other reasons related to learning. Digital innovation, together with medical cannabis, this is perhaps the sector where we are experiencing more growth. And then we have the life sciences sector. I will speak a little bit in more detail about the life sciences sector. So, as I said, first we started with a manufacturing base. So we have manufacturing of pharmaceutical and active ingredients. I think this is very important because it lays the foundation for the medical cannabis, as we shall see later. So pharmaceuticals and active ingredients, medical devices, machinery, cannabis for medicinal use, and veterinary products. Then we have certification and registration. I would say without hesitation that we have possibly one of the best medicines authority in Europe, with very, very high certifications from EMEA and from FDA. And besides being competent, it is also flexible and willing to understand the investor's need, and it acts very fast. We work very closely with Medicines Authority, and I would say that the rapport that the Medicines Authority adopts is very customer-oriented. This does not mean that they are lenient in terms of regulations, but they adopt a customer-friendly attitude in order to ensure that the customer is abiding by the necessary requirements. Research and services, this is one area that we would like to expand even further, even perhaps in medical cannabis. I believe that in this sector we can be European-wide or even worldwide leaders. As many of you know, we have discussed the possibility of research facilities, both independent research as well as research for the company-specific use, including clinical trials, including generation of IP, including process development. So this is something that we really would like to encourage. In fact, even in our fees for products, there will be a small amount of money for every product sold that will go into a fund that will develop research and innovation in Malta. Then obviously there is the international dimension. We are gradually building Gozo, our sister island, as a medical hub with private hospitals, with Queen Mary Medical School of Barts, and with a number of very interesting operations that our research hub in Gozo will house. Obviously, the best testimonials are our clients. This is a list of companies in the pharmaceutical sectors that we work with. As you can see, we have companies from many different destinations. I would say American, Indian, Israeli, some Maltese, German, Spanish. So the range of ownership of foreign direct investment in Malta and the manufacturing sector is very wide. Obviously, industry cannot grow without the necessary infrastructure, both in terms of housing production, in terms of housing research. So we have a state-of-the-art life sciences park that we are building together with investment partners mostly from abroad. We have the Gozo Innovation Hub that, as I said, will be part of a triangle between the medical school, the private investors in the hospital, and research operations that can fit within both these institutions. We have the constant collaboration with the education stakeholders, the University of Malta, Queen Mary, Stuart, IMCAST, La Sapienza of Rome, and a number of other foreign education. We also have facilities for the production of radioisotopes at our life sciences park to support eventual research operation, especially in the early life cycle of research. These are some of our facilities. As you can see, in life science, in healthcare, apart from the industrial aspect, but in healthcare, we rank very high by European standards. Many reviews place Malta within the top 3 of the quality of our healthcare for the Maltese community or for the community of people living in Malta. And obviously, there is also the impact of our industry, which is an industry of name, which is an industry that is credible, an industry that is in its own way well leaders, and this is the type of industry that we want in Malta. These are the exports of our life sciences sector. Obviously, compared to larger countries, these may appear to be small numbers, but for a small island like Malta to have exports of around 300 million annually of products coming from the pharmaceutical and the life sciences sector, this represents about 10% of our exports of manufacturing goods. As you know, Malta, we export both manufactured goods as well as services, almost to the same amount. So basically, that would represent about 5% of Malta's total exports. So we see the cannabis as a progression in our life sciences sector, as a continuation of the pharmaceutical industry. I am very pleased that some of the companies that are investing in medical cannabis come from the pharmaceutical sector. I think this is very, very important to leave a good hallmark of our medical cannabis sector. So we have devised a simple law, a law which is not more than 6 or 7 pages. It is an enabling law that obviously will be supported by regulations. As the Medicines Authority will probably say, the regulations will be issued very, very shortly. I think it's a question of a couple of days. Again, the regulations will be simple to maintain. It is very important that we trust the companies. We want the best companies to be in Malta. We want the best companies in the world to be in Malta. And we want to build a relationship of trust. So we are trusting them with the security, with the safety, with all that is necessary to ensure control in their operations. Obviously, the Medicines Authority role would be to control and to ensure that these regulations are being adhered to. These are our partners so far. We have a couple more, but as they say, until going to the press, these were the projects that have been approved by Malta Enterprise. Again, as you can see, there is diversification of origin, there is diversity of origin, so you have Australian, you have Canadian, you have American, partly European, Israeli, so it is a very good mix. Up to now, Malta Enterprise has approved 10 letters of intent that will qualify eventually for the license to produce medical cannabis. I would say that we have also rejected 10 applications. I'm saying this because although we are very investment friendly and we are very conscious of the requirements of foreign investment, but we have been rigid in the process. As I said, we want the best companies to be in Malta. So any company that is failing due diligence or which does not have the necessary commercial economic experience, we are not approving. So, as I said, we are in the beginning. Europe is indeed in the beginning, in the first stages of establishing a healthy medical cannabis sector, and we want to ensure that Malta leaves a hallmark of quality that will remain on the island. This is the same thing that we have done with pharmaceuticals, as you have seen from the names that we have listed, and the quality and the hallmark that we have left in pharmaceuticals, we want to replicate, and we will replicate in medical cannabis. I would like to thank you all for listening to this presentation. I would also like to thank those companies that have shown interest in Malta, those companies who have had their project approved, the companies that are in the process of negotiation. I believe that we can work together to establish a very, very important sector within Europe, which we know for sure will grow exponentially in the next years, in the next decade. And we want Malta to be on the forefront of this sectorial growth. Thank you very much.
You happy to take a few questions?
Yes.
So we're going to open it up to a couple of questions. In case anybody has a question, please put your hand up, and we'll try and get somebody on the mic on.
After lunch, it is always difficult for
exactly.
people to ask questions. So.
Well, Mario's going to be around. We'll
Yes.
definitely reach you and get there.
Yes,
Thank you
yes,
very much.
I will be here. So anyone who would like to speak to Malta Enterprise, there's my colleagues and myself will be here, obviously, to answer any queries or to give any clarifications that you may want.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our next, sorry, I'll get that. Thank you.